What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple H podcast. Happy Hour Hoops All-Star episode edition this week. We'll be going over everything All-Star game, All-Star weekend, dunk contest, three-point, news and notes as always. Just me and Jake tonight. Steve has the night off. He has some takes. That we'll get through the airwaves to him, or for him, I should say. But before we get into all the good basketball stuff, guys, Happy Hour Hoops is brought to you by, you guessed it, WinStreakzA. Happy Hour Hoops is back, and so is our presenting sponsor, WinStreakzA. It's simple, guys. You pick teams to win games. You accumulate points based on those picks, and then you win cash prizes weekly. WinStreakzA is 100% free to play. You make up to 5 picks per day on all your favorite sports. NBA, NFL is now over, sadly, but you can as soon as football season rolls back around. NHL, college basketball is in the thick of things right now. We're right around the corner of March Madness. 100 players win cash prizes up to $2,000 every week. The contest runs from Monday to Sunday. And again, guys, no deposits ever. 100% free to play always. Use our code HHH when you sign up and start winning cash prizes. And you guys saw us do our giveaways before. We have another one that we'll be doing next week on the podcast. So get those downloads in now. Jake, if you're watching on the YouTube, Jake is showing you the screen what WinStreakzA looks like. So easy to use. You just scroll down, pick games, pick who you want to win. But like I was saying, we did a contest or two in the past where we gave away a Game Time gift card. This time we are giving away a $10 Game Time gift card for everyone who uses our code HHH when you sign up for the WinStreakzA app. So go ahead and do that. Download the WinStreakzA app, use our referral code HHH when you sign up, and you will automatically be entered to win this $10 Game Time gift card for your next NBA game that you go to, because we all know that you guys are dying to get there. You can use your $10 Game Time gift card, courtesy of WinStreakzA, given to you by us. All you have to do, it's so simple. Use the code HHH when you sign up for WinStreakzA. Start winning cash prizes now, guys. And now let's get into the good stuff. NBA All-Star Weekend is here. Some of the players are going on vacation already. Some guys are getting locked in for their contest or big game, whatever they're involved in. And Jake, how are you? I'm always excited for All-Star Weekend.
I love All-Star Weekend. Now, oddly enough, every All-Star Weekend, I have memories of hockey because I would be at a hockey tournament every single All-Star Weekend. He's always had a President's Day tournament somewhere in the world. But that just meant that Saturday night, I was locked up with a bunch of my friends with slices of pizza, pop, soda, whatever you call it, in whatever part of the country you're in.
Yeah.
Galore, and we're just watching dunk contests year after year after year. So, it's a great memory, honestly. I love All-Star Weekend, love the vibes, love the energy from Friday night on. It's gotten so much more fun with social media, like seeing some of the stuff that people will do, the content and everything that comes out from it. We have one of the greatest gifts of all time, Shaq with the 2 phones filming from All-Star Weekend. We get so many just memorable moments that are just part of our life now. Like JBC's life, because HHA saved his life, which you're welcome, JBC.
Yeah, it's true. Happy Hour does tend to save lives. People have said that.
True.
But yeah, man, no, it's a special time of year. I think it's it's always great, right? Like, it's a good halfway point, or a little over halfway always, but it's a good, just good break for everyone, because like I said, some guys go on vacation who aren't involved and they can get the rest or whatever peace of mind they need to get off the court. And then it allows, the rest of these guys who we talk about so much, how saturated the NBA is with talent and how this leads to guys getting underrated. But this is also a cool weekend because it lets some of the guys who are in the dunk contest or the 3-point contest or the skills challenge showcase those skills that they have and don't usually get to be seen on, a big level or a national televised game or whatever it may be. So the All-Star Weekend special for a lot of different reasons. We're going to go over the 3-point contest, dunk contest, and then obviously break down the big game. But before we get to all of that, we will get into our news and notes. And this week, we actually had something that has only happened 6 times in the history of the NBA. And it's between the Knicks and the Rockets because the New York Knicks are protesting the Rockets game for missed foul calls. The Knicks and Rockets aren't scheduled to play again this season, but the hope would be to win the protest for the Knicks and play an overtime period to complete the game. Only 6 protests. So there's been more than 6 protests, but only 6 protests in league history have been upheld. This is crazy interesting because they don't have another scheduled game. So this game would have to be forced into the schedule. Make travel work, I don't know. Do they play this at a neutral site? Do they play this at the Knicks arena if they win this protest?
Somebody else's arena?
Yeah, right. Who knows? Do they do it at halftime of the All-Star game? Maybe. But it seems a whole lot of work to do just an overtime period. Now, if these teams had another game scheduled, I think this would be a no-brainer. I think the league would maybe not a no-brainer, but I think it would be a lot easier for the league to do. It's just funny, right? Because it's only happened 6 times in NBA history where this has been upheld and it's been granted. And now we have a situation like this in 2024, and it's interesting. I don't really recall any of these being like notable situations. I did see someone on TikTok breaking down that I guess this happened with the Miami Heat with Shaquille O'Neal, where I guess he fouled out of a game in 07-08 with the Miami Heat before he was traded to the Suns. Okay. I forget who the Heat were playing, but he fouled out of a game wrongfully. They said it was a 6th foul. It's only his 5th foul. He sat the remainder of the game. The Heat lost. They protested. It got upheld. They won the protest. But by the time they won the protest and were able to play, I forget how much of the game was left when Shaq fouled out, but they played that amount of minutes. Shaq was already traded to the Suns. So they granted the Heat this wish because Shaq was wrongfully fouled out. And then by the time they replayed the whole scenario, Shaq wasn't even on the team anymore. So Jesus. I kind of hope for some more dramatics like that, but this is
the Knicks have a reason to be angry. That's the thing too. True. Egregious. I haven't watched anything live, but I always watched the highlights and watched it afterwards, and it was egregious. Like the Knicks have every right to be pissed off about this. It's crazy that more teams don't do this. I guess you really would have to the fact that there's only 12 means you really have to bring a case. The league's not going to show up its referees very often, so that's it's got to be hard to do this. But first of all, you got to have a coach like Tibbs who's just a hard ass no matter what. And so he's a guy who obviously is going to, I feel like, the perfect personality and type of coach to go after and do this. Yeah. But like I said at the beginning, it was horrible. I don't know. The Knicks have every right to want to protest this, and I don't know what's going to happen out of it, but they got screwed over pretty bad there. And hey, they're in a battle in the East right now. Like they didn't go, lose 2 spots in the standings because they're 1 game back. And they think about this game. The Knicks fans are never going to let people live it down. So every game is important right now. You got to turn over every stone.
Yeah, and the new acquisitions from the Detroit Pistons for the New York Knicks haven't really a lot of anger from Tibbs, a lot of frustration within the organization when something like this happens. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if the league grants them what they want, but definitely interesting to see a protest in the NBA. Speaking of things that are interesting, Draymond Green and Yusuf Nurkic, round 2. It happened the other night. There's so many moving parts here. Draymond, after the game, a few days removed, I believe, he calls out Kevin Durant and Nurkic because of their comments that they made originally. And then Nurkic walked his back that saying, I take back what I said about I hope he gets help. He kind of said he didn't really care. and that it wasn't going to change anything. Basically saying Draymond hasn't changed. I guess he just is what he is, which, I mean, it kind of seems like that since he came back. He hasn't really, I mean, he hasn't got ejected as frequently or hasn't got as many technical fouls or flagrant fouls, whatever you want to call them. But the antics still seem to be there. Battling with Nurkic, that's, I think everyone loves that. Everyone loves the fire on the court. It's great. No one's saying that they don't want competitive or even hard nosed or even a little dirty basketball every once in a while. I think everyone likes that. But it's just Draymond gets into these moods, man, and then he takes to his podcast, and he's always right. And just here we are again, him calling him out. He was calling Nurkic little, which I think is supposed to be satirical, obviously, because in the same breath he was saying that Nurkic has 70 pounds on him, and he shouldn't be able to move him like that, but he did. This is I chalk this up as just classic Draymond, but what do you think about all this?
Yeah, the classic Draymond. That's a perfect way to describe it. I'm shocked that why I don't know why he's going on the podcast and doing this, but it's just like he has such a warped reality of what's going on. A or B, he's doing this on purpose to be the heel and be the bad guy that everybody, and it gets him more attention than his play on the basketball court right now in his career. And mind you, he's been good since he came back. And the Warriors' defense has been awesome and has helped them make this little mini run and push back into play-in and playoff territory. But Draymond wants attention. Like, that's why, the crux of this, all of Draymond's antics is that he wants attention for what he's doing, no matter what. And he's going to go the extra length because it's going to irk you and it's going to make you worry about Draymond when you should be worrying about Steph Curry. Like that, I really do believe there is a method to his madness. I think he's doing this on purpose. He just doesn't care what the public. Now, you also have to be a little crazy to decide to do this, like in real life. Like, this isn't wrestling. This is real life NBA basketball. And this dude just goes out there and acts nuts. Like, he's unhinged sometimes. And so I think he has to keep this, even if he doesn't believe that, which I hope he doesn't really believe that, right? I realized this auto-corrected to Nurkic, which did you autocorrect that to do that? I don't know if I did that or you did that, but that's great.
I don't think I did.
Okay, well, I think I was just putting the kick in there for thinking of Draymond. And, yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, let's just roll with that.
They're rolling with that. But Nurkic has every right to be mad. Like, the fact that he came after the reason I think that it's more just Draymond like playing up the part.
It's because he went after KD too. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, what, KD had nothing to do with this, bro. You attacked Nurkic. Like, what are you bringing Kevin in for? Except to start the tweets up like, "Oh man, see, told you that they weren't boys. Told you that Draymond got Kevin out of there." Like, that's what he's trying to start up again. He is. I really don't think Draymond's stupid. I think that he's doing this on purpose. It's kind of like he's kind of like evil LeBron, like in the way he manipulates these things, and those guys are really close. Like Clutch Sports loves to do this too. Like, I feel like it's all very calculated by Draymond.
Yeah, and what's weird about, especially like if he's serious about KD, because he's referring to Durant the first time he punched Nurkic, because obviously Durant was asked about a post game the same way Nurkic was, and that's when Nurkic said, "I hope the brother gets the help that he needs," or something along those lines. And then Kevin Durant said something pretty similar, but it sounded a little more heartfelt from Durant because obviously they're teammates, they were close for a few years, and I'm sure this respect level between KD and Draymond Green is a little bit stronger than the respect level between Nurkic and Draymond Green.
Yeah. But
Kevin basically was like, "Yeah, I hope Draymond gets the help that he needs as well." And Draymond, looking back on it now, he called it Kevin Durant questioning his character, which is crazy because that's obviously not what he was doing. He said, "You go and question somebody's character in front of the whole world, ? That's whack." I think they're all whack, both of them, talking about Kevin Durant and Nurkic. So I think you're right. I think this could just be Draymond stirring the entire NBA pot. And we'll see. The Warriors, aside from last night, I think before last night's loss, they were on a 6-game winning streak. So they're doing what they can to get out of that hole that they've got themselves in. But definitely still have a lot of work to do. Draymond definitely still has a lot of work to do. So we'll see, man. It's Draymond Green. You got to just learn to expect this.
Exactly.
And speaking of Draymond, we love these Draymond Green transitions and talking about punch jokes, but this was a happy accident. The next thing on our dock is Isaiah Stewart punches Drew Eubanks in the face last night. Shams can't get enough of reporting on this. I feel like he's typed the words punched in the face probably 400 times since yesterday. He seriously cannot stop talking about this. It's kind of funny at this point, but that is what happened. Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons, I guess in the depths of the arena, somewhere near the locker rooms or in the tunnels, Stewart and Eubanks ran into each other. They faced off in their matchup in November, I believe it was.
Yeah,
they had some sort of altercation in the middle of a game, went chest to chest, and now months later,
that's the crazy part. Is this was not just a fight. Like, I mean, it was a fight basing from a game, but this is like premeditated. Like, Stewie was sitting there waiting. He's like, bro, the second we see this team again, I'm doing this. That's terrible.
Yeah. And like, they must really hate each other because no disrespect to either guy, but like, Drew Eubanks is a guy who averages 5 points a game. I'm looking up Isaiah Stewart's numbers as we speak because I'm not as sure on him. I know he's had, some more relevant seasons in the past. Let's see. What is... Can't see this for some reason. I'm sorry.
Eubanks.
This is bad radio.
11
points for Stewart and 5 for Eubanks. So, and Stewart's a little more relevant, I should say, but he also plays for the Detroit Pistons, so not really. Eubanks is a very...
Bro, when you search Eubanks on Google, it's Christopher Eubanks is the first one who shows up. The American tennis player. The second Eubanks, it also says, see results about Arkansas State Representative John Eubanks. That's who Drew Eubanks is.
Yeah, and so like that's how you know these guys hate each other, because it's not like real beef that had happened recently. This is just weird beef, and like the fact that they did it for no cameras. Obviously, it was caught on camera. The league's reviewing the footage and stuff, but like this wasn't in a game where it was on TV. Like these guys just straight up don't like each other. They got the report from Shams was they got chest to chest in the tunnels, and they were chatting. Stewart put down his bags and immediately punched Eubanks in the face. And the report now today is that he barely flinched and he was stone cold. Shams said this too in the video report. He said he was punched in the mouth area, whatever that. I mean, you could have just said he got punched in the face. It's close enough. But barely flinched and stone cold. So I guess Eubanks is a hero in this situation, and the Phoenix police. Their statement on this, because it happened in Phoenix, Stewart was arrested for assault and issued a citation and then released. The investigation remains active. I believe that is with the NBA and the police. So I don't know. I don't know if Isaiah Stewart's going to be charged with anything, but he definitely could be. It'd be a little more of a story if this happened on the court, or even in a situation where Poole and Draymond Green happened, where TMZ leaked it. I don't know if we're getting a TMZ leak with tunnel footage from the Phoenix Suns arena, but
we might. That does seem like it's up their alley.
Yeah,
it could be.
But not something you see in the NBA every day. So we figured we'd throw it in the dock and discuss it with you guys.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's like Stewie was looking for him. He was just waiting. Like,
he's an angry dude, apparently.
But
everyone remembers his rampage.
Man, like he did go after LeBron. Like that's why I'm wondering. Like he's gone from LeBron to Drew Eubanks now. Like that's just that's crazy range. He's just got beef with everybody.
Yeah, the Pistons have had quite the drop off, man. So this is who they're picking fights with now. It's not the best.
I'm telling you, he doesn't even pop up on Google results, man. It's third down the list.
That's crazy. All right, before we move on, if you had to guess, if Isaiah Stewart does get a suspension, How many games you thinking?
6.
I like that. Yeah. I was gonna say
How
somewhere
much?
in the
How many? They got like 30 games left, so yeah, I feel like 6 would be like a good amount.
true.
20% of
Good
the
point of
games
how
left.
many games are left. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
something. He
spot.
should get suspended. You can't just do that. You got to
Yeah,
get suspended.
I think he will.
Yeah, especially if they have footage and see it. They got to get him
Yeah.
out of there.
Yeah, so that was fight night in the NBA last night. We weren't able to see it, unfortunately. Maybe TMZ will get their hands on this. Like Jake said, that seems like something that is up their alley. But let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into the all-star festivities, starting with the Starry 3-point competition. We're gonna go over the actual 3-point contest and then Sabrina versus Steph as well. Which, I wouldn't be surprised if people are more excited for the Sabrina Steph matchup than the actual 3-point contest. But the Starry 3-point contest, we have Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, who Dame is the defending champ, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young. Good group of shooters. Anyone stand out to you? I did actually just see the odds on Twitter somewhere. Let me pull those up. Who stands out to you off the rip, or do you already have someone that you know that you're taking to win this competition?
Well, I would love to just pick Donovan Mitchell here and call it a day, but this is an interesting one because I feel like, I mean, Dame is definitely the. I mean, well, you're gonna tell me the betting odds, but I think in my brain, Dame is the favorite just
He
because
is
you
the
got to go
betting
with the
favorite.
pedigree. Okay, makes sense. I kind of like Lauri Markkanen, but I feel like tall guys never do great in this contest. Like it takes too long or something. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm projecting and don't really. That's no facts to that or anything. Halliburton got the home crowd with him. Could be the way, but I think I'll go with Cat. I think
Cat
Cat
won. I
gets
was gonna say Cat won 2 years ago, I think,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
I think Cat gets it done because he's been hitting those shots like crazy.
Yeah. I
This year
mean,
he's
that's the
been
reason
cooking.
he's
He's
an
been getting in a
all-star this
roll.
year.
Yeah, and so I'm going with Cat. I don't like it, but it's just the name that's jumping out to me right now.
So 3 guys are plus 600. He's one of them.
Okay.
It goes Lillard at plus 450, Malik Beasley, who I think would be my educational guess of who's going to win. He's plus 550. Tyrese Halliburton's also plus 550. Trae Young's plus 600. Cat's plus 600. Jalen Brunson's plus 600. Markkanen is plus 650. And your guy, Donovan Mitchell, is plus 700, which I will
Wow.
say, I like him for the value. I think that's
Yeah.
crazy that he has the longest odds there.
Yeah, I
So
wonder. That's surprising, honestly, that he's the longest odds. That is pretty good
yeah,
value, but I don't know. It depends what. You don't know what Don you're getting. That's the thing
that's-
from 3.
I like Malik Beasley for the story. I feel like Dame would like crash the interview at the end and be like, "Oh, like I won it last year. Like now we're teammates, and he won it this year." And Malik Beasley's been
Cool.
shooting the shit out of the ball, for the Milwaukee Bucks this year. So I like Malik Beasley. And then if we're doing long shots, I mean, I don't know how you don't sprinkle Donovan Mitchell there at plus 700.
Well, now you convinced me that I have to do that, but I still
No.
think Cat gets it done. I still think Cat.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that pick.
Yeah.
And it does.
Who do you think? Who do you think's in the finals? If you think like who would you be your? Oh, I guess not your ideal final. Who do you think would be in the finals? Oh wait, that's too quick.
I could see Malik Beasley and Cat.
Yeah.
Because those are guys who used to be teammates too. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, I like just for like the vibes of the season so far.
Yeah.
I think these guys are better, like pure. I think
Brunson Halliburton would be the most fun finals. If that was the combo, it would be so hilarious.
I
Brunson
feel like it
getting
never
booed by indie fans, like
yes, true. I feel like it never pans out this way, but like for some, I always think too much about like guys who are in-game shooters, and like Tyrese has like a weird form. Like, does that translate to this? And like that never really ends up mattering, but it is something I think about. Like it's hard. And then like Trae Young, like we haven't even like really mentioned Trae.
you're not giving him credit.
Yeah.
I can't.
He is like, one of the best shooters in the league though still, and he's at plus 600. I think, Brunson, Trey Young would be a crazy final too. Those two guys got Knicks Hawks. I'm sure there'd be Knicks fans there screaming at Trey Young.
Yeah,
That could be fun.
it would be fun. Trey Young is probably a good pick, a safe pick there, but I feel like he had a really bad either last year or a couple years ago had a tough performance in one of his and I don't think he made it out of the first round, but he had a really tough start to it. That's the thing you said. I've tried to guess this so many years in a row, and I have no rhyme or reason behind who wins the All-Star 3-point contest. I feel like every year, everything I think is gonna happen flips on its head and somebody else goes off, and somebody I'm sure is going to go off like hits 10 out of 30 or whatever the point is. And yeah, so I'm that's why if I'm picking Cat here, you might not want to listen to me because this is an unpredictable one, and this is a great group though. This feels like a group that any of those people you could theoretically see winning, and I'm surprised. That's why I'm surprised Don is lower than Marketing. Like I feel like Marketing would have been the guy that nobody picks, but Marketing can hit the three too. So everybody here is just they light it up. I feel like this is going to be a close comp without Curry in there, without like Clay in there, without some of those guys when they were going. Like I feel like maybe the Warriors were always the favorite too, and Dame is probably a heavy favorite in most people's minds. I just don't think Dame's gonna. I don't think he's gonna pull it off a two-peat this year. He doesn't have the motivation to get on this year as much.
And he's had the games here and there, but he hasn't been. I wouldn't say he's been his regular self this season.
The fact that he's an all-star is like debatable as it is. Like,
yeah, we're gonna get into that. We'll get into the snubs, for sure. Real quick before we move on, the only thing I'll say, I am gonna inject my Celtics bias a little bit this episode because I think if you talk about snubs and disrespect, there's been a lot of that happening for the Celtics that. Our coach Joe Mazzulla has addressed, but Sam Hauser, I don't know if he's deserving of being in this, but is a guy in the next couple of years keep the name on the radar because I think Sam Hauser would do great in a competition like this, and he's deserving. He shoots 41% for his career from three. He's shooting 41% again this year. He can hit any type of three you want. Like he'll lean and hit one. He can shoot with no space. He has one of the purest forms just in general. So he's a guy I want to see, down the road in this 3-point contest. But Jake's taking Cat, so that's your final, and then we both will sprinkle Donovan Mitchell there. I like Malik Beasley. And that is the starry 3-point contest. The other part of this, though, is Sabrina versus Steph. This is just cool for a lot of reasons, but probably the main reason is it's making history, right? Like we've never had this before. We've never had the WNBA crossover with the NBA at All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
And now we have it. I saw a sick video today. I didn't even know this was a thing. Sabrina, as a fan at a Golden State Warriors game, I think she was 10 years old, or maybe it was 10 years ago. She was super young. And she high-fived Steph Curry on the way out of the arena on his way to the tunnel. And now here they are, years later, All-Star Weekend, facing off in a 3-point contest. When that shit happens with professional athletes, I always think it's the craziest thing in the world. And we have another case.
Oh, before we go too far, Steve.
Oh, yes. We didn't talk about Steve's 3-point pick.
As we trash Trey Young, Steve picked Trey Young to win. So Steve is on the Trey Young bandwagon. Sorry, Steve. I'll get you back here. I do not think – I'm just not picking Trey Young
on this, man.
I'm not picking Trey Young just because I'm a hater. Trey Young very well could win this competition, and it'd be not surprising at all. There were some Trey Young Spurs rumblings the last couple of days that I saw on Twitter. And we did have the rumor that Trey Young might be the odd man out of Atlanta and not DeJounte Murray, which was why they didn't move Murray at the trade deadline, which makes sense in my basketball mind to do. So Trey Young's been in there, and if he ever got to play with Wemby, that would just be
that would be beautiful.
Awesome.
I think as far as the Trey Young hate too, like he'd probably have a little bit of a resurgence there if he was Wemby's point guard. Like I feel
my God, yeah.
Fans would start to come around on him. He has like all the
Well, and think
Texas basketball
we would
fans on
get
his
Trey
side.
versus Luca like properly because it's San
Yeah,
Antonio and Dallas. We'd get to
4
see
times a
them
year.
against each other so much. Throw Wemby in there, throw Kyrie in there. Like that's a little interesting. I like that San Antonio is thinking about that.
Speaking of the Mavs too, we if we're shouting out Steve, he did, what was his notes on the Mav that he wanted to say? Mavs are a wagon. This is the exact quote from Steve. Mavs are a wagon. Gafford is a monster. Kyrie looks healthy and like he's in his prime. Luka MVP. So that is
Couldn't have said it better.
Steve Mavs update as he's not here tonight. We had to pass along the word. The Mavs have been crushing it. Luka has been playing like the MVP. Kyrie has been impressive. And we talked about it. We said the Mavs probably won the trade deadline, and Gafford has been unbelievable since joining that squad. So shout out Steve. Shout out Sabrina and Steph. Who do you got in this? I'm going Sabrina for all the vibes. I think.
Yeah, I can't pick. I don't. I'm going to be cheering against Steph so hard in this.
Yeah.
Like, no way you can cheer for Steph.
And it'd be good for so many different reasons. It'd be good for growing the game of women's basketball. It'd be good for the WNBA, everything. And I hope we get it. I hope Sabrina can come through with the victory. And yeah, so that'll be something to
It's gonna be so much fun to see. I can't wait to see it. Like, I hope this is that. I mean, I'm assuming the dunk contest is the main event, but I feel like this should be the main event.
Yeah, I think
give them the stage.
I think I did an order of what the schedule was. I could be wrong, but I leave the dunk contest as last for Saturday. But yeah, and you know, for kind of like what you were saying, it's the 3-point contest might not have guys like Steph, but you also get to see him shoot right afterwards against Sabrina. You know, it would be something is if she won and also put up better scores than whoever wins the actual 3-point contest too. That would turn some heads. I think that'd be pretty cool for Sabrina.
That's gonna be lit.
But yeah, that's the 3-point contest breakdown. I have Malik Beasley, Steve has Trae Young, and Jake has Karl Anthony Towns. And we all encourage you to maybe go sprinkle Donovan Mitchell at plus 700. We think those are long odds, and Mitchell's capable of winning this competition for sure.
Yes, for sure.
The AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. People are sour about this, I think. They don't like the names that are in it. We have my guy, Jaylen Brown, who I'm repping right now. Shout out JB. Bringing the stars back to the NBA dunk contest is what he says he's doing. Heat rookie Jaime Jaquez Jr. will also be in it, who honestly, before he was in this, I didn't know he was a dunker like that. You know, you go back and watch his high school and college highlights. He's pretty sensational above the rim.
Which, did you see another set of his high school highlights? CJ Stroud chirping him and saying that he put up 40 on his head.
I did see that. Yeah, that's. I love CJ Stroud, man. I love.
He was talking his shit. That was crazy.
The hooping and warm ups for a football player is awesome, dude. You love to see that, and yeah. I mean, hey, if that happened, you got to talk your shit, right? A guy who's having an incredible year for a rookie, and he's in the dunk contest. The defending champ, Mac McClung, who I could be wrong. I think I picked him to win last year. I might have picked Obi Toppin, actually, because I do love Obi. And speaking of Obi, his brother, Jacob Toppin, is also in the dunk contest. So we have Mac McClung,
awesome.
Jaime Jaquez, Jaylen Brown, and Jacob Toppin. And it should be good, man. I'm picking JB solely for the fact that I'm riding with my guy on the Celtics. He is a star. He's bringing the stars back to the dunk contest. He's one of the best in-game dunkers in the league. And I think he's got some interesting stuff that he could break out. But I think Mac McClung is definitely still alive because the reason Mac McClung is in even close to the NBA, I believe he's on the Orlando's G League affiliate. But the reason he's even in this stratosphere is because of his jumping and dunking abilities. So I think Mac McClung's definitely still alive here. Who you got, Jake?
Well, I'm not gonna sit on this podcast and go against Jaylen Brown in front of you. So I'm rolling with that. I think Jaylen Brown is only doing this because he has a point to prove, and that's how Jaylen Brown has existed. That's why he is a superstar now. He's not gonna enter this contest without some ideas. It's clearly been thought out, I feel like. So I feel like Jaylen can't. I feel like he has the most to lose, and that's why he's gonna win. Because if he loses if he's the superstar in this and loses, like people aren't just gonna give him credit for being in it. They're gonna
doing it.
Exactly. Even though he should get credit for doing it, but he's got to win it now. Like you called your shot, you got to come out and do it. So I think he gets it done.
This is surprising, the odds on this. Steve has Jacob Toppin he took?
Yes, he does. But he also loves that JB is doing it too.
Yes, he did. He did want to mention that. Mac McClung is the betting favorite. These odds are from FanDuel, by the way. This is from a Bleacher Report article. Mac McClung is minus 190 to win it.
That's crazy.
Jaylen Brown is plus 420. Jacob Toppin is plus 600. Jaime Jaquez is plus 650. So the long odds are with Jaime Jaquez. I think these odds make sense for the most part. But I'm rolling with Jaylen Brown, man. I want to see some cool stuff. I hope he brings out Porzingis and like tries dunking over the 7'3" guy. He's gonna get creative in some way. Maybe he'll pay tribute to Gerald Green when he was on the Celtics and blew out the cupcake on the rim. Something. I hope we just have dramatics in the dunk contest again. Make the dunk contest cool again.
We need a great final. We need a great like back and forth in the final.
I think JB versus McClung would be awesome.
Be awesome. Yeah. I have high hopes with this one though. I have high hopes with this group that they have. I think that's a good we know what McClung can do. Like I said, he has the most to gain out of this, obviously. Jaylen has the most to lose. Jaylen, I think, comes in with a plan. Jaquez, we'll see, like a rookie doing it. You never know like what it can look like. And I think we know what the Toppins look like when they're in the dunk contest. I'm sure Obi will be there as a part of a dunk, if you might have mentioned that already. But like it's gonna be I have a good feeling about this group, good feeling about this contest. I think it's gonna deliver. I think last year's gave me some a little bit more hope. I'm not as big of a complainer on the dunk contest anyways. I think that it's hard because there's only so many dunks people can do now, and everybody's like, oh no, another between the legs windmill. Like I've seen that 5 years ago. It's like, okay, like you go try to do that dunk still, like, and not on a 8-foot rim or 7-foot rim in your driveway. Like go actually do it. So I think there is some like of an online lack of appreciation for the fact that these guys are jumping 11 feet in the air and dunking like they are, because it's still pretty. Now, what I hated, the multiple attempts over and over again do take away from the dramatics of the dunk.
Yes.
And I know that you people want to see completed dunks, and a contest kind of sucks if you just have somebody who just misses both their dunks and then you're done. But if you're going like 10 times and you keep missing these dunks, it can get.
You can't do the same one. I think if you miss, you got to switch it up on the fly. That's what it should be.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a middle ground, right? Like you don't have to score a missed dunk, but if you miss doing a certain type of dunk, you can't try that same one.
Yeah, that would be ideal, because there's just like a certain tension that there isn't. Like, except you feel bad for him, kind of. That's like the tension. Yeah. You're like, oh no, like come on, just get it done.
That's so embarrassing, bro. Meanwhile, I can't jump over a phone book.
Yeah,
like these guys are jumping over Kias. Shout out Blake Griffin, by the way. That was still cool as shit.
That was nuts.
But yeah, man, all-star break, dunk contest. If you're a real hoop head, I feel like you love it regardless. And let's go, Jaylen Brown. That's what I have to say about that. The big game, Jake. The 73rd All-Star game of all time. East versus West. OG rules are back, man.
That's beautiful.
I'm so happy. It's just a traditional All-Star game. This is what the fans wanted, and I'm glad Adam Silver and the league listened to us. Real quick, I'll rattle off the names from the East and West. In the Eastern Conference, Giannis, Tatum, Dame, Tyrese Halliburton, Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Scotty Barnes, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Trae Young, Donovan Mitchell. In the West, LeBron, Luka, Kevin Durant, SGA, Jokic, Devin Booker, Steph, AD, Ant, PG, Kawhi, and Cat. I noticed while I was writing this out that the Western Conference has much more nickname
They do.
big stars than the Eastern Conference does, because the East list looks much longer. It's just because the Western Conference list has a lot of nicknames in it, and that might have just been me getting lazy. But those are the teams. Biggest snub from each conference, Jake. Who do you got?
Well, I'll give Steve his shout out first, and he gets to go first here. And it's got to be Sabonis not making it for Sacramento from Steve's end, and that's understandable. Like Sabonis, I was shocked. Sabonis and Fox, the combination of them, honestly, the fact that both of them weren't all-stars is kind of shocking, but also the fact that neither of them was an all-star is the most shocking, because that team for 2 years now has been one of the best teams in the NBA. And they felt deserved. Like one of them felt deserving in that group. Who would you take out of this? I mean, I think Cat is probably the easy choice. Like Cat deserves to be an all-star, but the coaches could have, like, this is not representative of the best players in the West, I feel like, because there has to be a player from the Kings. You can have, and you want to say there's 2 from the Timberwolves because they've been in first place. That's fine, I guess. But I still think that one of these guys, it's close. That's the thing. It's like, I don't feel like there's anybody on the West team that doesn't really deserve it. Maybe LeBron is like the guy who is like the least deserving, but LeBron gets voted in.
I see some people saying AD. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just the 2 Lakers in general is tough. Like the 9 seed.
Maybe, yeah. But it's the Lakers. Like I'm understanding where they're coming from.
I'm fine with it. It's like what we keep going back to though. It's just that's how much talent there is in the league. Yeah. It's like there's going to be more and more snubs every year, I feel like.
Yeah. I would have liked to see Fox in, even though I'm okay with him not being in. I think that he was deserving as well. It's hard with, you got the 2 Lakers, you got the 2 Clippers. But I mean, like, I can't argue with Kawhi and PG really at all. You can't argue with KD and Booker. You can't, like, that. No. They have to be there. Like it's really hard to take anybody out of this. But Sabonis or Fox in for Cat, I think, is the biggest thing I would have tried to do.
Yeah, and you brought up Kawhi and the 2 guys on the Clippers. Ty Lue earlier in the week said Kawhi might not be able to play in the All-Star game, or they might hold him out. Just, I think the injury is not that serious. He has an abductor injury, but they might, for precautionary reasons, keep Kawhi out. I think Sabonis would easily be the guy to take his spot if that was the case.
Right in there, yeah.
So hopefully that happens. Well, you know, I want Kawhi to be healthy and play as well if he can, but if he can't play, hopefully Sabonis gets the spot. Do you want me to take the Eastern Conference snub?
Yeah, who do you think?
Or you can weigh in too. So this has been a roller coaster for I think all Celtics fans. At first, I was like, okay, wow, we might have 4 All-Stars here. And then I was like, let's be realistic. It's probably going to be 3. It's probably going to be the Jays and Kristaps Porzingis. Derek White playing out of his mind, but not really there, right? At least numbers-wise. And then when it actually didn't happen, I was like, shit, man. Someone got screwed here. So long story short, I think Porzingis should be in the All-Star game over both Trae Young and Julius Randle, who got the 2 injured replacement spots in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis is averaging 20 points and 7 rebounds, 2 blocks a game, shooting 53%. Julius Randle has the advantage in the points. He's averaging 24 points, has the advantage in the rebounds. He's averaging 9 rebounds. He's shooting a worse field goal percentage, and he's averaging 0.3 blocks per game. And then it just all comes back to the Boston Celtics being by far the number 1 team in the league. Joe Mazzulla had a few comments about White and Porzingis being snubs, and he's like, does winning not mean anything anymore? He kind of also gave it to the media too about Tatum not being up high enough on the MVP tracker. So Boston fans obviously think they're snubs out of Boston. I do think Porzingis might have been the biggest snub Also, one thing, I don't think Derek White necessarily should have made it over these guys, but one thing to point out that I saw today, Derek White is the only player in the league that has 100 plus threes, 50 plus steals, and 50 plus blocks this season. Only
That's pretty
player.
impressive. That's pretty good.
But yeah, that's my snub from the East. Do you have one that you wanted to throw in, or would you agree that it's KP?
I think Porzingis deserves it over at least as the like Trae Young getting in. I don't think Trae Young is having an all-star season. And I think KP has a great case. I think both those guys had a great case. I really do. I wouldn't have been mad if it was White or KP getting in over a Randall, over a Young, over one of these guys that ended up getting in here. The East is not. That's the thing too. Is the East, like you said, not as many big names in the East. You know, like it's crazy that I would have Randall deserved to get in over Porzingis, and obviously Embiid deserved to be in there. But I think you have a better case to say that Porzingis could have been over Randall initially.
Yeah.
I think that that's fine. Randall, tough start to the year. Porzingis's efficiency has been really impressive. I'm that's the Randall hater coming out in me too. But Randall has not been it like Randall's life has been easier with Brunson around, and obviously Porzingis has been easy with Tatum and Brown. But like you said, one of these teams is one of the best teams in the league, and the other team has made most of their run with Randall on the bench. Like, let's be honest, like Randall got hurt partially through that run, and Brunson's been holding it down for them. Brunson's been the major star point, and it's been. I don't think I think he's done it with pretty much every roster he's had around him. OG hurt, Randall out. Brunson's been there consistent. Now, Brunson's been hurt the last couple nights, or was hurt for a little bit, 2 games there, whatever. But I could have seen Porzingis getting in there or Derek White getting in there over Randall, especially over Barnes and Young. Scotty makes a lot of sense. Trae Young doesn't make any sense to me, though.
That's what I should have mentioned. Like, I'm saying, I think KP should have got in over Randall for sure, but like definitely should have been the injury replacement for over Scotty Barnes, I think. White, same kind of deal. Like, maybe Derek White shouldn't have. I think Porzingis clears Scotty Barnes as far as the seasons they've been having this year. But yeah, I don't know. That's that people get snubbed. I think it's a talent thing.
I'm okay with. I guess I don't really like. Obviously, I think the Celtics guys would have been first in line. DeRozan would have been a fine choice too to be one of the all-star replacements. I just don't think that I'm okay. And I see Scotty Barnes. I get why he gets in here at this point, but Trae Young did not have he's not been all-star. There was a reason he was off that team, and I felt like there have been players better. Like, I feel like Porzingis and White have had more impact than he's had most of this year, and Trae just gets in because he's Trae. I don't know. I didn't need to see him on this replacement team. And I wish Joel was in this game.
Yeah.
Joel being in this game would make it more fun because I think the West takes it.
Yeah. I honestly, like, making this list, I was like, wow, this kind of seems lopsided. And then I was like, well, I don't think the reserves for the East were picked that well. As you know, I just went on talking about that. And then, I mean, the West is just stacked, bro. Like, They just have all the big names on this all-star team. It seems like the fact that they have Steph coming off the bench is crazy on that side. So yeah, I think it could be West. Obviously, if Embiid plays, it's a different game. And the East, like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be pulling for the East. I got the Jays both playing for the Eastern Conference. I think it could be anyone's game, but I'm going West here as well. Who you got for all-star MVP? If you think it's West.
SGA.
Ooh, I like that. I think I'm gonna go Luka.
I was thinking him too. Yeah, that's a good choice.
I think he's gonna try to break Tatum's all-star points record.
Because you gotta think of who's gonna be finishing this game. Like, LeBron might not play the second half. Bet you Jokic doesn't play the second half. Like, Kawhi's maybe not even gonna play the whole game. Like, I bet you Giannis doesn't play a bunch towards the end. So who's going to be the final 5? I feel like Luka is a good choice for that. and SGA is going to want to be on the court at the end of this game because it's like his coming out party. And so I feel like SGA is a solid person in that role. Like Halliburton on the other side, if you're picking the East, like Hallie's obviously going to be out there late and be pushing.
That's a good one.
He might be a good MVP choice. Mitchell might be a good MVP choice depending on how hot he gets because he loves to do that in these competitions. He had a pretty good year last year. I don't think Brunson makes a lot of sense as like an all-star. Like I wouldn't bet on Brunson or Barnes to be all-star MVP, I don't think.
What if Tatum gets back-to-back years?
That's true. Tatum, I wasn't thinking about Tatum last year at all, and he came out and balled out.
He has the most points in All-Star game history now, 55. Yeah. That's why I think Luka could be chasing that. The type of scoring he's been on this year.
That's true.
I think he knows he gets compared to Tatum all the time, or the two of them get compared to each other. I shouldn't say he just gets compared to Tatum. But yeah, man, so many opportunities for MVPs here. We both like the West. We're loving that it's back to the East versus West style. No weird rules. Super excited for the All-Star game. Stay locked in with us and stay locked in with WinStreaks, guys, because we told you at the top of the show we're giving away a $10 game time gift card next week on the show. So we'll be after all the All-Star stuff. We'll go over all that. And we're going to be giving away a gift card. All you have to do is download the WinStreakzA app. Go download it. It's free to play, always free to play. No deposits ever. You pick your favorite teams to win. You just scroll down that nice interface right there. You pick teams. It tells you how many points you'll get for the teams that you're picking. You accumulate those points, and then you win cash prizes. Use our code HHH when you're signing up in the referral code box. HHH.
I'm making my picks. Go ahead.
HHH, like I said, and you guys will be entered to win this game time gift card that we are giving away courtesy of WinStreaks next week. You got
making my picks right now. Making my picks right now. UCLA 55 points at home. Slight underdog. Utah Jazz, 59 points. Warriors just played last night. Now, I picked against the Warriors on a bet the other night on a road back-to-back. They beat up on Indiana. So they're not, but that's a lot of road back-to-backs in a week. But $10, sign up for the code, as Dunny was saying, HHH, chance to win a $10 gift card. And it's free to play. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's really, like, if you put your, like, if you're a bettor and you're spending money, like, and you think you're so sure about a bet, just like you have to download WinStreaks and just do it on the side too. Like, it doesn't make any sense to not play WinStreaks when it's free. You don't have to deposit anything. Like, this is not gambling. It's not anything like that. Like, anybody can go out and do this, but if you're placing them, just go do this anyways.
Yeah.
Like go do the free play, get your confidence up, test some theories out. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can, like, pair this and have fun with this with a different league, across different leagues, across different sports. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's great. If you're just hanging out with the boys and you guys are all throwing a game, everyone take a side on WinStreaks. Someone pick one side, someone pick the other, or you guys all ride and try to accumulate those points. Like Jake said, it's free to play. You're doing yourself a disservice not having the WinStreaks app. So go download, use our code HHH when you sign up. You'll be entered to win the Game Time gift card. And that will do it for Happy Hour Hoops, folks. Enjoy the All-Star break, dunk contest, 3-point, Sabrina versus Steph, East versus West. It's going to be great, guys. Later.